Hello guys and welcome to the video. Today's video I'm going to be showing you how to mix your drums, how to mix your entire beat to sound professional. Let's get into the video. Let's get started. I'm going to send this one to the mixer, and of course I'm sure you're aware of that. You're going to come to your mixer and like that, shift and L, you have it like that. So we have the percussion here, we have the bass. All right, so let me just, this is the bass. Let's rename it. I want to go to where the kick is. Let me just loop this side, this section. Okay, let's go to the kick. We have it in track 9. Let's go to 9. We'll give this one the kick. All right, so the kick and the bass, now that's the first thing we want to treat. All right, this will be the first thing we are to treat. So I can just give this one separate color. Now let's take a listen from that point. So guys, what is very important, make sure that you have a good sample. All right, select a good sample possible so that it will make your workflow very easy. As you can see, I have a very punchy kick right here. Of course, what I normally do is to make sure that I take everything you see here, I take it all the way down to about 85 thereabouts, and then begin to adjust the knob. All right, so I'm just going to begin with the kick, and let's take a look at the bass as well. So I need to sidechain this kick and the bass so that they don't clash. What you can easily do is just to load in Fruity controller. So we have this one right here, Fruity controller, Fruity P controller, and of course on the bass we're just going to add an EQ to the bass. Okay, so now let's take a listen to the bass again. So let me just do this like this. So as you can see, the energy of the bass is around this 50 Hertz. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to go to browse parameters. All right. So now that I click this band 2, all right. So I'm just going to say link to controller. All right. Because that's what I pick right there. And then go to pick control pick, all right, and then of course under mapping formula you want to say inverted. This is very important. As you can see, it now it's not working properly, so you want to go to your Fruity pick, and of course you raise the bass to about 50% thereabouts. Of course, make sure you're looking here, you can see that 50%. And then you want to set the volume as low as possible to the lowest value possible so that you can have something like this. All right. So I'm going to engage the kick. As you can see, each time the kick punch, it reduced the volume of the bass a little bit. So of course, you see where I pull this is where the energy of this bass lies. Okay, yours could be here, yours could be, all right. So you just want to make sure that you find out where yours, all right. As you can see it in the waveform, something here, all right. That's the first thing right there, to sidechain the bass and the kick so that they are not clashing. Okay, now another thing I like to load, as you can see, this kick is pretty good, all right. It's pretty cool. So let's move to the next one. Okay, let's move to the next one. And this one now we have, that's our percussion. So we're going to put in we're going to add EQ. So for this one, I'm using Pro Q3. So what I want to do now is to treat the low end, all right, to take away anything that I find irrelevant in the low end so that I can reserve that for the bass and the kick. All right, this is very important so that your mix can sound very clean as possible before you go into mastering. All right, so that you can have a pro sound. Okay, So let's take a listen. As you can see, there's nothing here. So we're just going to roll off the low like that. Of course, make sure you have a good headset so that you can hear what I'm doing right now. All right. So what I'm doing here right now is simply taking away all the lows because I do not need it in this aspect. All right. So awesome. Next off, we move to this one. I'm just going to bring this one right here. Let's take a listen to without. Okay, so let's go. So I'm just going to roll it like that. Let's see if we take away the highs as well, we sound better. All right, so literally that's what I have to do in this aspect. So after treating it, then we adjust the volume based on our preference. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, you see the way we are mixing it one after the other. So this is our piano. All right, this is the piano, and the plugin for this one is Diva, of course. But let's take a listen. Now, as you can see, this piano, of course, it sounds pretty rich and good. Okay, but I can still go further to add a lot of things, a lot of color, and a lot of elements to even make it sound beautiful. Okay. All right, so I can even leave it like this or still go further. But here's what I'm gonna do. Let's add. All right, so I'm gonna add Kickstart 2, and I'm going to use this one and leave everything. All right, you can see that. Yes, before and after. Trust me, you can do this based on your preference. Okay, but this is, we are trying to mix it, right? So we're trying to add flavor to it. All right, and then we can even use this plugin. Then what we can easily do is to adjust all of this knob. Okay, but to make it even fast, here's what I'm gonna do. There's a preset in here that already sounds pretty cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna say solid compression, add this one. All right, just like that. I don't have to do much. Of course, you can still go ahead and adjust the knob based on your preference. But then I'm going to go with this. Sounds pretty cool. Let's take a listen now. As you can see, it's more pronounced, more punchy and better. Yes, before and after. So now we can reduce the volume. All right, so that it's not clipping. That being said, and pretty that's it. And then you want to add, Pro Q3. Of course, as usual, you want to roll off the low. Now, the reason why I'm taking away the low, you see that a lot of low, let me just enable it again. You see that it carries a lot of weight in the low end. Of course, I'm going to reserve that to the bass. All right, and taking away the lows. It sounds much better like this to me. All right. So these are the things you want to put in consideration. All right. As you can see that what I'm pretty doing right now is just to roll up the low. All right. I'm not really doing much because I use good samples. Okay. That being said, now you want to load in to the master. You want to load in and making sure that the threshold is 100% so that, it creates a ceiling. All right. You see that before? We're just going to leave that right there so that we are not clipping. Okay. Now, that being said, let's proceed to you see the way I'm mixing it one after the other. Then after mixing it, we'll now adjust the knob so that everything balance. The next one. Of course, you already know what you're going to do here. Let's just carry this one here. You can see that before sounds much better, right? So let's proceed. So we're taking this one to the left side. All right. Then this is our major piano. It's going to be in the middle. We're just going to, we're creating space for some of those instruments to shine. All right. Awesome. Let's go to the bass. Now you can see that everything sounds pretty cool. They are not clipping, they are not clashing. We are good right there. All right. Now we're going to mix this one, another guitar right here. All right. Okay. So let's just carry this one. See that? So let's just go there. Of course, we have a pretty stuff like that. Much better like that. Awesome. Not increasing, not so much. If you have to take a listen now. You see now, I send it to the right, okay? And as you can see, I just sent like about, this one about 50%, all right, to the left, and this one is 50% to the right, so that we can have a lot of things going on right there, okay? So now if you look at the roll now, we have the roll in 13. I think the roll is pretty cool. All right, we don't need to really do much right there. Of course, we can still take away the lows, everything that we find irrelevant. All right, we just take away the lows right there, and then let's proceed to another one.
Sammy Records.
The vocal is at 14, so let's go to 14. We can add a reverb to that one to make it even sound open.
Sammy Records.
All right, just sidechain to this one, and we call it reverb. For this one, let's go with 2 decay. Let's fill off the highs. All right, yeah, I think we are good like that. Okay, let's take a listen again.
Sammy Records.
All right, just to make it more open.
Sammy Records.
Awesome. Yeah, so guys, I'm just going to leave everything sounds pretty cool. Now here's what I'm going to do. Another thing you want to do is I'm going to, all of them as you see right there, I'm going to route it to this guy, route to this track only. Then I'll say this one. So let's just say sub master, and then maybe let's change the color to anything of our choice, and we can just dock it to the right. All right, so everything that goes to this guy, because we're going to process it before it now goes to the main master. All right, then remember we need to fix this one. We have this one, of course. This one is assigned to this guy, and you're resetting it to 100%. All right, and yep, pretty well like that.
You are listening to Sammy Records.
All right, it's as simple as that. So now that we have this, let's take a listen to the volume.
You are listening to Sammy Records.
Now, here's what we are going to do again. We're going to load in. Before we go into that, we're going to add balance to it. Because now that we have a clean mix right now, we're going to reduce the volume. We're going to take about 6 dB so that we are not clipping, so that we can leave enough headroom. All right.
You are listening to Sammy Records.
Pretty cool and awesome. All right. By the time we go to mastering, we're going to bring back the volume. All right. Next, we're going to add just like that. Nothing much. Just put it like that.
You are listening to Sammy Records.
You see that? Just to make it more heavy and robust. All right, we're just going to leave it like that. Now, before we even go into that, I'm going to mute this one. Then let's go to the bass. I want to show you guys something. Now, this is the bass. These are sounds. We're going to load in another plugin called One. Now, what you're going to do with this plugin, let me load it first. Now, we're going to control the bass. We want it to be more heavy. We want the bass to be more heavy. So we're going to take away all this one, reset it to default. Okay, everything has been reset to default. All right. Yep, let's bypass it. Let's take a listen. Now, here's what I'm going to do now is to engage the bass a little bit and engage now. Before. All right. Now, it's because of the sample I'm using. You can see the bass is more punchy and coming out very well. Of course, when you load in this very plugin, this one is just to make the bass more punchy. All right, it's self-explanatory. Just to make the bass more robust. Okay, so add this to your bass and tell me what you think about it, if it really does a great job. All right, of course, obviously you can see that we are around that. Look at it now.
You are listening to
-10. That's the integrated loves. That's -10.9, which you don't want in your mix. So that is why I first off reduce the volume, okay, so that everything calm down. I take away 6 dB before I now begin to mix it again. Add this guy.
You are listening to Sammy Records.
And by the time we take a listen, let's look at the integrated loves.
You are listening to Sammy Records. Sammy Records. Sammy Records.
Now you see, guys, I intentionally bring it down to -17 loves. All right. Now that we have a clean mix, and I make sure that all the volume is all the way down. Okay. Now, if you are not satisfied with your kick, the punchiness of your kick, you can still go ahead and add another plugin to your kick. All right. So that it can punch through. All right. So I'm going to mute this one again. Then we take a listen.
You are listening to Sammy.
Let me loop this section. Now, here's what I'm going to do right there. All right. Of course, you're aware of that. Let's load in black. Trust me, you can use any compression of your choice. All right. But this is my go-to. All right. So I'm just going to pick this solid one. You know, let's take a listen to the kick alone. You see now, it's more punchy before. After. You see now, it's more heavy and punchy, okay? Now I can reduce it so that we are not clipping. Awesome, I'm perfect. Let's go to this one. As you can see, they are not clipping, they are not clashing, you know. It's really punching very well. Another plugin you can even use to achieve that is you can easily sidechain the kick to the bass, and then you're going to load in so we're going to load in our Fruity limiter to the bass. But first off, I'm going to mute all this one so that we can take a listen in real time. All right. So that is if you want to use Fruity limiter. If you don't want to use the first process, this and that way you can sidechain the kick and the bass so that they're not clashing. All right. So the essence of sidechaining the kick and the bass, you know, is to leave room for the kick so that whenever the kick punch, the bass will come down for it to punch through. Okay, so that's just the essence of sidechain, so that they are not clashing, because those two sound right there always lies at the low end. Okay, and if it is not well treated, if you don't treat it very well, you're going to have a lot of clashing right there. All right, and that's why the bass comes in. Okay, all right, as you can see, I'm going to pick this one, and then for the sidechain, we're going to pick the kick, of course, the threshold, and let's look at the release, the ratio. Let's take a listen. You can definitely see this one works pretty perfect and pretty well. You can definitely see the result in real time. Pretty simple. Reduce the threshold. You can see it. This one with this purple icon is the kick, and this white one is the bass. Okay, so whenever the kick just coming, it ducks those bass, all right, so that it can punch through. You can see the waveform, and pretty does everything. All right, it's entering. All right, you can easily use this one. I love to use this one as well. You can use this one to achieve that. Let me show you. Let me exaggerate. Let's take it all the way down. You see that we can't even hear the bass anymore. All right, only the kick. You can see the waveform. You know, this is the first waveform compared to this one. You see that this one take away all the bass. All right, and you can see the kick. And of course, you want to make sure that it's not too much, so that it's not noticeable. All right, because if it is too much, it's going to create a noticeable effect. It will destroy the bass. It will destroy the bass, and you don't want to do that. That is why this is important. Of course, you can play with the attack, the release, and the release and all that. You can play with it, but then I'm just going to leave it pretty simple like this. Of course, yeah. So this is another way you can sidechain the kick and the bass together to have a solid sound. Or you can use the first method that I shared. So which one that works best for you? Okay. All right. So let's go with the first method. I'm going to delete this one. Anyone you pick is awesome. All right. So no need to sidechain this anymore. All right. So let's go with the first method. I love this. I love this. All right. So everything now. You can see that nothing is clashing, everything sounds pretty well. Okay, and of course you can see the button, the essence of living. You see that I left some of it untouched, and some of them and decrease it. So it is based on your preference. If you want some of the instrument to go out, to be more pronounced, you increase the volume. If you want it to sound underground, maybe you take it down. That's what all this volume fader does. Pretty easy. But for this one, I think I love what I'm listening to, what I'm hearing right now. I love it like that. Now there's another thing you can add to the piano to even make it more interesting, and you can do this to the vocal, maybe if you have a vocal there, or to any of the instruments. All right, and this plugin, let's load it. So we're just going to load in this simple plugin. It's called Fruity Formula Controller. All right, and from the presets, I'm just going to pick, from LFO. From LFO, I'm going to pick this one, basic sine LFO. All right, so let's take a listen. It's not really doing anything right now, but we're going to engage this 3 button. Now, before we engage this button, it is important that we link this this knob to this plugin. All right, so right click here and say link to controller. All right, from here we're going to pick formula control and say accept. Let's take a listen now. All right, so what we are simply doing is to add more dynamics to the instrument, to go to the left, to the right, and all that. But as you can see, this one is pretty fast, and that is when we are going to control it with this knob. All right, All right, so we're simply saying that you should just reduce it. So I just decrease it so that it's not too fast. It's coming small. All right, to go with ease. Okay, and this one, as you can see that. All right, this one means to go to the left, to the right, so it will only be working at the right level. See that? All right, it will not pass the right. All right, and why this one mean? This one, now if I engage it, this one is, to be making it going up and down. Okay, this one right here, the B portion of it, we're going to increase it to the highest value as possible, because if I disable it right now, nothing is going to happen. So we have to increase it. All right, so that it keep working. Okay, all right, that being said, then we're going to reduce the volume here so that it's not too fast. Yeah, I think I love this one. Yep, I think I love it just like that. It goes to the right very slowly, it goes to the left very slowly. Of course, you can apply this to any vocal, to any instrument, just to add more flavor to your production, all right, to your mixes. All right, so now that being said, I'm going to reduce, of course, engage all this one.
You are listening to.
And then now we are done with the mixing. Let's take a listen.
You are listening to Sammy Records.
Awesome. So guys, now this is how you can pretty mix your beat to sound pretty nice and professional. Of course, you can see that with just simple technique, you have a pro sound right there. So what I'm going to do right now is to export this one. So this is the mixed level. Okay, in my next video, I'm going to share with you how you can master it to bring back all this volume that we've reduced, to bring it back to life. All right, I don't want this tutorial to be too long. All right, so until the next one, stay creative.